So there's quite a few people here from Stoke, for whom this is their first event. Thank you for having the courage to come along, to think for yourselves, to see for yourselves, and to do something about what's being done to these people, this city and this country. We're here because, initially, partly because of the murder of Keith Brown. Not a member of ours, not because he lacked the commitment, but because he knew that the trouble he had with his neighbour was so bad, so severe, that he knew that sooner or later something ghastly might happen, and he didn't want that to be connected to the British National Party if it didn't have to be. So he knew something bad was going to happen. How did he know that? Because Keith Brown was a friend of the Khans next door. He used to take Mr. Khan to work. They worked at the same place for several years. He used to drive him there. Keith Brown was not a racist, most definitely not. But after he and his family had been repeatedly attacked, after a strip of land of theirs had been stolen when the Khans changed and extended their house, he began to complain, and he complained to the council, he complained to the police, and nobody would listen. And one of his children filmed from their bedroom window one of the many physical attacks on Keith Brown and some of his older sons, and he took this video along to the police, and they wouldn't even look at it. And that was the point at which this mild-mannered, decent Englishman said, enough is enough, I'm going to have to do something, I'm going to have to step beyond what is usual, beyond what is normal. And that's the point at which he came to the British National Party councillors in Stoke and said, I've got to get you to get this in front of the police, because if this isn't sorted out, something really serious is going to happen. Someone is going to get badly hurt. Someone is going to get killed. He knew what was going to happen. And he came to us saying, stop this, get it to the police. And our councillors took that video evidence to the police, and the police refused even to look at it. And really, when they say, well, who murdered Keith Brown? And it was a murder. Yeah, Mr. Khan was the instrument, but the ones who made it inevitable were the senior police officers in Stoke-on-Trent. They did not criticise the ordinary police officers, including the ones who planned the operation today, which has been meticulous, professional and thoroughly proper, and we owe them thanks for that. But it is to criticise the political correctness that is rotting the police force like every other institution in this country, from the head down like a rotten pig. All they needed to do those several years ago was to look at that evidence, to take it to Mr. Khan and his thug friends and family and say, look, we've got this here. Unless you behave yourselves, unless you stop behaving in this vile, aggressive, racist way towards your English neighbours, then we will arrest you and send you to prison. At most, all they needed was an ASBO. One of the things they hand out to poor white kids like confetti at a wedding, all they needed to do was to give one Stoke Muslim an ASBO, and not only would Keith Brown still be alive, and his family would be together, but for that matter, Mr. Khan would still be living with his family and kids, but no doubt he loves, and no doubt they love him. And so you've got one murder and one wrecked life, because even though he's going to be in prison only for a couple of years, it's still not a good experience, is it? So one tragedy on the white side, on the English side, and one family disaster on the Muslim side, and it's down to the senior police officers who refused to nip the trouble in the bud. It's down to newspapers like the Stoke Sentinel, which for years has deliberately concealed and covered up what is a permanent running sore, a slow-burning epidemic of violence. If you go to a Derby or an Oldham or an East London, everywhere where you get a large Muslim population, you find that their white neighbours and their Sikh neighbours and their West Indian neighbours are victimised by a section of their population which is driven by a hyper-aggressive version of their ideology or religion, which is financed by one of Britain's biggest trading partners, Saudi Arabia, which is spreading not just terrorism, but also crude, simple, old-fashioned fundamentalist Islam, which hates the kafirs, which hates the unbelievers, which teaches its followers to treat us as content, our women, our children as sex slaves, and our young men as legitimate targets, let alone